Okay, viewers, welcome back to the channel. You're Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia, on the subject of Covert Emotional Incest Fundamentals. We're doing the 10 plagues. There's a reason for this. It's a journey. You have to look at the other videos to work out where we're up to and what's going on. But we're up to the plague of festering boils. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot from the brick kiln. Now, this is brilliant, and this is why at the start of the video I read about the Israelites being made to make bricks without straw, which is agonizing. And now the Lord's gone, well, okay, you want to treat these people like crap? Guess what's going to happen now? Get the soot out of the brick kiln where they've treated you like garbage. And this is what unresentment does. Right? Unresentment's got an incredible way of coming back, unresolved, which is resentment undealt with, has got a tremendous way of coming back on people. That's got a fantastic way of coming back on people. And they just don't have any foresight. These people that you're trying to deal with in covert emotional incest, they have no foresight because they're blinded by the relationship that they're having with each other. They don't see how careless they are with the people that they're with. And you get to the point where you feel like this, right, well, screw you. I'm going to get handfuls of the crap that you've put on me, and it's going to come back on you. And I had to say to a couple of my partners, I just can't tolerate, I'm sorry, but I just can't tolerate your adult children the way that they are. And these poor women, they did not have a way of solving the problem because they created these people. They would not stand up to these people. As a matter of fact, they served these people. These adult children were the parent. And in every single case, the parent had become the child. They were submissive to their children, which is totally and utterly demonic, completely and utterly demonic. Let's go to the plague of boils. So, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot from the brick kiln. Why did you have to take handfuls of soot from the brick kiln? Because when Moses and Aaron had originally asked Pharaoh for a resolve, he punished them by saying, oh no, you're not going to get resolve. We're going to make you people make bricks with no straw. And that's exactly what these narcissistic, covert emotional incestual people do. They'll make you stand there and suffer in the unresolved and run the relationship for as long as they can until you give in. Until you give in. And I used to think, how did I get into this marriage? What is going on here? I'd get home from work and she and him would go out to the shops. All her attention turned to this adult male, lazy-ass grub. It got so bad, I ended up having to ask them to leave the house. And I forfeited the marriage. I asked for a divorce immediately. The children went into a vendetta against me. They caused the trouble. This is how it works. And then they try and blame you for everything, but it's them. They think you're stupid. I've worked with people all of my life. I know every trick in the book. Then they'll go as far as trying to ruin the next stage of your life. And then that stage of your life's a replication of the last episode. This is where you can come undone. You have to learn from what's happening with these people. You have to learn. And it's your responsibility to learn. And if you want to be ignorant, then be ignorant. But it'll happen again and again and again. And the whole thing about covert emotional incest and narcissism and dark triad traits and micro-incremental conditioning that these people try and put you through to bring them to their dysfunction is about the loss of time. They're wasting your time. They're completely and utterly wasting your time. They've got no regard for their own time. So what makes you think they're going to care about your time? They're not. They're just going to run it till they sell it, wing it as far as they can until you give in, and then they're going to return to their default. But their default's not going to be as good as what they thought it was going to be, because I'll tell you why. Even the Bible says, if you mess good people around and they're trying to be decent with you, right, and you run their tolerance into the ground, their understanding and their willingness to work with you, you'll go back 7 times worse off after the relationship, before the good person come along. You're going back into a situation where it's going to be 7 times worse. And what I found in the last 2 relationships I had, I would not want to go back 7 times worse to what they were, because all of them have come into my presence and been healed. Psychologically healed, they were getting physically healed, there was meaning coming back into their lives, there was understanding, but their flying monkeys wouldn't and didn't want them to move forward without them. And then, you being a Christian, you want to forgive and work stuff out and all that stuff. Well, that's how they aggravate you. They're not going to let you have it. They're not going to let you experience a strong, healthy relationship. They're just not going to. They're going to keep you making bricks without straw. They're going to keep the unresolved. They're going to hang on to their hatred and narcissism and delusions and lies and character defamation and whatever else their resentments are towards you, and this will rub off on your partner eventually if they don't stop it immediately. Because this is what unresolved looks like. In the spirit, their soul just gets covered in boils. The essence of them dies like the livestock. Their bloodline becomes contaminated. And I can remember one of my partners saying, I feel like I've got spiders crawling inside me. This is when I came along. It just shows you that the gnats, the flies, the plague of flies, was going on in her spirit and in her soul, and it showed me this woman cannot. She doesn't know how to navigate her own resentment, so this could mean trouble later in the relationship. And then they get boils, and they will not resolve. So you take the unresolved, right, and you toss it in the air in front of them, and the ashes of it spread like fine dust all over their lives and that, and they will still not resolve. The relationship's fallen apart and they still will not bring resolve. Absolutely. You know why? Covert emotional incest makes them stubborn. And you'll watch their lives falling apart. It all looks good on the surface, but underneath it's just falling apart. And for some strange reason, they think they've got it together, and they're just you see them. They're on substances, medications, trying to get round the unresolved instead of just dealing with it and everybody moving on and being happy. They just will not deal with it. Honestly, and you're saying to yourself, you're making yourselves ill, you're making yourselves sick, you're psychologically unwell, your mental health's gone down the tubes. For what? For what end? Honestly, for what? No. They just will not They will not understand. And this is what you're going through. This is the journey to try and get resolved. So when he threw the soot into the air and the boils broke out on people and animals alike, even the magicians, right, even the flying monkeys were unable to stand before Moses. The boils had broken out on them and all the Egyptians. And that's when they kick you out. That's when family members say, no, he can't come here anymore. He's just trouble, this bloke, because he wants to bring resolve. He wants to help improve our lives, and we don't want that. We're happy the way we are, right? We're happy with all our unresolved and emotional trouble and stuff. Viewers, I'm telling you, this is what it's like. This is what you're dealing with. Stubborn, arrogant, self-unaware people. It's so sad. It's really, really sad. And even their magicians and counselors haven't got answers for this. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. And just as the Lord had predicted to Moses and Pharaoh, they refused to listen. And that's 100% what happens, viewers. These people just refuse to bring resolve, and they end up where they end up, and that's just getting nowhere. They're working for nothing. Their health means nothing. Oh, it's really, really bad. And there's nothing you can do about it. You're trying to bring good, you're trying to be good, and there's nothing. Just nothing. You're just watching these people go down the drain. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. And just before I go, they stand there. They're very defiant, these people. They stand there and they go, oh yeah, well, I'll show you. But they don't show you, because all they've got to do is resolve attitudes and badness and sadness, and they won't. They don't resolve anything. So they ain't showing no one anything. Not even themselves. Everyone's just blind, festering. And there's nothing you can do to help them. As hard as you might try, and you can pray and walk with them and be kind and love them and that. No, they haven't got the character or the personality. They don't want it. They just want to tag onto you for as long as they can and then go back to their darkness. I'm sorry, I know that's hard, but that's how it is, viewers. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theology. Bye for now.